and welcome back to We Bombastic Few, episode number 10. We made it, guys. Double digits. Let's go.
Ooh, let's
That's
go.
unexpected.
You guys are not nearly hyped enough. Fun fact about the number 10 comes after 9 and before 11. All
It
right.
also comes out or becomes before 1000. Little known fact.
Well spoken.
I'm gonna have to check your math on that. We'll fix it in post if it's wrong. You know the other hosts. Who do we got here?
This is me, Daniel, but I think you misintroduced me. I'm not one of the other hosts, quote unquote. So
Yeah, apparently Brent is the main host. Emphasis on main from his mouth.
Yes.
Eh,
That's not
see, I just I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
sounds more like a dictatorship to
Doesn't
me.
matter how you feel about facts. They're facts for a reason.
I too am Daniel, another host, also known as Lindsay.
Wait, you two are Daniel.
That's correct.
The original name of the podcast was Brent and Two Daniels. Anyway, they've had enough screen time for my introduction. So, from the last couple episodes, we had audio problems because we were at a different location and the internet, it was not great there. We should have those fixed out. Also, you could hear my heater in the background, but not to worry. Despite the fact that it's like 43 degrees outside, my heater has been turned off. So I do
That's
I do it
dedication.
for the people. You're welcome. It wasn't even that bad, but whatever. And then also, I didn't actually check with Lindsay before this. Did we tweet Will Smith about showing up as a guest?
Yes, and there was a little slight inconvenience with it. Apparently, Will Smith doesn't have a Twitter.
Are
But
you kidding me?
we did tweet out the topic of Will Smith. So
Okay.
we're gonna get his fans into this, and then he has to respond if we get all of his fans into it, right?
Is it possible
Sure.
to tweet at one of Will Smith's children?
That is a possibility.
Could
That's
we
also
contact his MySpace? Is that an option?
MySpace? Yeah, I think I can revisit the MySpace website if it's still active, and I can see what I can do as the social media guru, apparently.
Basically. All right. So for today, you may be thinking, "Oh, what kind of special episode do they have for episode 10?" It's not that
It ain't
special.
special.
But we got a get to know you new segment. Get to know your hosts a little bit better. What's a podcast without a hypothetical? Of course, we've got one because this is a podcast. And then also, we're going to end it off with a superhero debate. But
Round 2.
This is a classic in the making. I'm telling you right now. We have prepared nothing.
we are so prepared. I don't know what he's talking about. But so our bombastic word of the day, it is actually a little bit themed. It is decimate, which you may be thinking, I know what that means. It's not bombastic. Well, shut up because it's themed. And it originally meant to reduce by 1/10. So it now actually can mean like any percentage, but it used to mean by 1/10. So that's what we're taking it to mean. So bombastic word of the day.
Well, you
decimate.
know what, Brent? If you try and tell our audience members to shut up again, I will decimate you. That's right.
Reduce
you
me
will be
by it.
90% Brent. Oh, and if you do it again, I'll decimate you again. Then you'll be 80% Brent.
No, he'd
Well,
be
no.
81%.
Oh no, that's right. You would be 81% Brent. Oh, don't even. You want to know what happens if you do it the first time? I'll do it again.
As he gets a calculator out. Wait, so is decimate typically used as like pretty much just to reduce?
Well,
Or is
like if you Google it right now, it'll say to reduce by a large percentage, and then underneath it'll say historically meant reduce by 1/10. So
which you can see the root of deci, so that typically means like a fraction or a decimal, obviously. So that kind of wants to imply that there's a specific amount, at least in my brain. But I could just be idiotic.
wow. Can't believe you think so. Anyway, all right, first segment, get to know you. Lindsay, what do you got?
Get to know you. This is like he said, a brand new segment. We're gonna try it out. I've come up with a few questions to kind of interview or kind of pick the brains of our other hosts, and if we like it, we're gonna go more in depth. The inspiration of this was to kind of give the listeners a chance to relate with us a little bit. Obviously implies they get to know you, and that way we seem a little more interesting to you, because psychologically, if you relate to someone, you get along with them better. So beyond that, we have a few questions. We have just a few serious ones, and there are going to be a few that are kind of humorous. First one: if you were able to wake up tomorrow morning having gained any one ability or quality, what would it be?
Telekinesis.
For both of us, or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
More
No competition.
Telekinesis.
Like, given the option to choose one superpower, that also is it. But like, because telekinesis, you get so many derivative powers of like flight, basically invulnerability. You get a form of super strength. You get multiple powers depending on how good your telekinesis is. So, telekinesis, which is the ability to move things with your mind, by the way.
If I could have any quality,
Or ability.
or ability,
Let's do one unrealistic and one realistic.
one. Oh man, now you're making it tricky because I had one realistic one. We'll just say we'll drop the diabetes. Then I'll just be
That's that's the source of your power, though.
well, right. But I would want to lose my powers, because with great power comes great responsibility.
Okay. So then maybe you come with like an unrealistic one. Could be like a superhero power, like
Being funny. Whew, that's pretty unrealistic.
I would.
Got him.
My superpower would be to be able to rearrange people's faces, so I could remove Brent's lips.
Well, you can only rearrange it, so you gotta put them somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I would move your lips to a different part of your face, and then you wouldn't be able to speak out of them anyways.
Two different, like your lips are just completely
Well,
separate.
and my jaw would know. Assuming you move it away from my jaw, yeah, I guess that would make it pretty hard to speak.
Your lips open up to your brain.
That'd be really good for surgical applications.
I'm sure everyone's super happy picturing that. What's the next question?
Is there a realistic quality or ability for you, Brent? Because last time I checked, telekinesis is far from.
Disagree, but whatever. Realistic, probably the ability to fall asleep instantly.
Oh,
that would be
wow.
super helpful.
Incredible.
Moving on.
That'd be awesome.
All right, moving on. What is the greatest accomplishment of your lives?
Jeez. Okay. I wish we had been able to prepare answers for these.
I got something.
I knew Brent had one. This first one was.
See, I just have so many to choose from. It's really tough.
Whatever.
So legitimately, legitimately, not legitly. The two biggest ones that I have ever done. I'm gonna say it like one physical and one like career, or I guess personal or whatever. So physical, I ran a half marathon after only training for it for 8 weeks. And so that is by far the most crazy and my favorite and most self-fulfilling physical accomplishment. And then career-wise, or I guess just like personal, Eagle Scout, I'd say, is my best accomplishment.
So how physically taxing was pushing yourself that hard for an 8-week training?
Well, so before that I started training, the farthest I had ever run was a mile for school that I did once a year in physical education, where my times were consistently above 12 minutes. So it was probably one of the one of the coolest like things I've ever done, and I got to give a very big shout out to, I don't actually know if he listens, but Andrew, not Lindsay Andrew, but a separate Andrew, and then also Christian. Both of them actually did it with me, and they were super big in like supporting me along the way. So if
Fun
you guys
fact,
are listening, shut out.
I think that's the first time we've used Lindsay's actual name on the podcast.
No, I think I faintly
He said it
hinted
in
at
like the first
with
episode.
Anthony. No, I
Did he?
didn't. With Anthony last week, I did
Hmm.
mention how he's the one who gave me the name Lindsay. But yes, my real name's Andrew. They call me by Lindsay because I was introduced to them as Lindsay from our previous guest, Anthony. I actually am called Lindsay by more people than I am Andrew, so I'm happy to respond to any name given to me. But Brent, you didn't really answer my question. Like, was it like super physically taxing? I know you said it was like you said you had encouragement, but like, would you have, if you would have planned it out better? Would you have given yourself more time? Do you like how it went down?
I think
Was it
more
too super
time
slow after?
definitely would have been more helpful because like I was following a plan I found online for runners, and so in the beginning it was really hard, but eventually it got better. And then the day of, so in the training we never like ran the entire time. We only ever ran for like 40 minutes or whatever, and then walked for like 5 or 10 minutes. And for the actual half marathon, we ran the entire way, which like that was like I dug into energy stores I didn't know I had. And so just overall, I'm going to turn this into a PSA. If you think you aren't athletic, such as I thought of myself, you should challenge yourself to do something you thought you could never do, because you'll find out that you actually can. And it's a crazy feeling. So, but yes, it was very challenging physically and hard, but I did it.
Daniel, what about you? Did you come up with something? Obviously,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't push yourself if you didn't.
Well, it's a weird answer because to me, I haven't done that much meaningful things in my life, but
Then give me your
like
best
the
memory or something.
I mean the thing I've done that I'm most proud of is in high school I wrestled, and I think that's the most, not only the most effort I've put into something, but the longest sustained effort I've put into anything.
Which, on top of that, you were very good at.
I was okay. Yeah.
Well, your dedication showed, definitely. I thought you were very well, and I don't know a lot. I saw it because my brother was on the same squad or everyone, but was like you could tell that you knew what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You seemed to be someone enjoying yourself doing such a thing.
Yeah. It was a really cool experience. Definitely my favorite sport. There's just something different about it. I can't really phrase right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to put a lot more thought into it.
You can say you like holding men. It's okay. This is a safe
Well,
space,
hey.
Daniel.
Hey, I mean that's aside from the fact.
This next question is focused for Brent, and there's only one response I expect from this. It's something to do with every podcast episode. How do you feel about
Will
your
Smith.
relationship with your mother?
Well, okay. Very good. Shout out to mom.
There you go. That's all I expected.
The first one.
All right. This could become a touchy subject, but what, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
Oh,
That could be, you don't have to make it personal. It could be just a general topic.
This is
But
a
what is
lose-lose
something-
question because I inherently want to make a joke about it, but by the nature of the question, I can't.
I just think that's kind of a situational thing. 'Cause I think if you're making a joke and you know potentially someone is actually going to be like hurt by it, then that's something you shouldn't really be making a joke about.
Or at least you evaluate how the amount of people that are going to laugh versus the amount of people you're going to hurt. And then compare that to a chart. And if it's above...
If you cross this certain threshold of
people hurt versus
0.69
people
ratio.
laughing. Yeah. It's the golden ratio. You just follow that.
All right, sure.
Okay.
Also, golden ratio. Never joke about that. Very serious.
If you were to, this is another somewhat more so like serious of a topic. If you were to guess, how would you die? How would you guess you were going to die? Better phrase another.
Of natural
Probably-
causes, he said, hopefully.
Probably like something stupid, like slipping on an orange peel.
Well, as long as you're not the guy who crossed Niagara Falls in a barrel over a tightrope and then you die by slipping on an orange peel. or
That's
banana
exactly
peel.
what I had in mind when I said that.
Wait, is that legitimately what happened?
Yeah.
No, that's a real story.
Dang,
Uh,
that's
only true facts here on the podcast.
intriguing.
Honestly, probably natural causes. I don't want to venture into anything else, so
You don't think that you're gonna go down in like
a blaze
a
of
dog
glory.
fight within something like crazy?
Well, it all depends on how the Vegas trip next year pans out. That'll entirely change my answer, but I might
There you
have
go,
to
guys.
fight Mike
You guys are
Tyson or
forced
something.
to stay with this podcast until the Vegas story comes out, which is Vegas happens in March. So you guys are forced
Okay,
to stick
but-
around now.
I mean, we have to record the podcast while we're in Vegas because once we leave Vegas, we can't tell any of the stories.
Oh crap! You're right.
Dang it!
We'll bring recording stuff there.
Yeah, we'll have to make amends for that. All right. And I had one or two more.
We have time for one
lighter
more,
ones.
at least,
But
or
yeah,
two.
would you rather be in a real life version of The Walking Dead or a real life version of
Other.
Game of Thrones?
Ah, no.
Oh.
Well, if I'm in the real life Game of Thrones, do I get to be a cool guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm immune to fire and can speak with dragons, or am I like freaking the serf that holds the cup for the second in command of the Legion of Argonauts for
I gotta
Japan?
tell you, I haven't seen either of these, so I can't answer that question.
Well, no.
So-
Do I get to be someone of importance in these stories, or am I just your average Joe and extra?
Let's say you can let's say you could switch between any of the things you've gotten in the various quizzes we've taken on the podcast. For instance, I could be Scooby, I could be Penelope von Schweetz, or I could be a business major.
I was just gonna say a business major. So
It's like
Cinderella.
that. There's a video that I watched where Paul Rudd takes the BuzzFeed quiz of which iconic Paul Rudd character he is. It's like he goes back and like the other things all the other characters he's already been given, he has to like revisit pretty much. It's like a whole different segment.
Between Cinderella, Fred, and a business major, I gotta go Fred.
With what? You cut out a bit.
Between Fred, a business major, and Cinderella, I'm gonna go Fred.
You cut it
Fred.
in, but Fred, yeah.
Okay.
Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say more so average Joe than anything. It's the world.
Not
It's
Walking
more
Dead.
so,
Walking Dead
like,
sucks.
Storyline.
I think I'd be Scooby in The Walking Dead. Have you seen how fast Scooby runs?
That's true.
But The Walking Dead's a scary place, man.
Yeah, but okay, but picture this. I go to the Scooby snack factory.
And there's
Then I'm
zombies there.
set.
No, you are not.
I'm Scooby, okay, Brent?
All right, fine. What's the next question?
I thought you said that was the last one.
We have time for
But-
one more. Final one.
My
Well,
gosh.
just
Question
give us what
to
you
end all
got.
questions.
We're not on a time limit,
Well,
but give us a good question and then end it.
Okay. You're about to get into a fight. What song comes on as your soundtrack?
Oh my! It has to be the Karate Kid, "Best Around" by Joe. It's like Esperado or something.
Yeah.
You're the best. Oh, I can't sing it because of copyright reasons.
Yeah.
You're
the best
You're
around
the
town.
better. You're better than the average person in the general vicinity. Nothing's ever gonna operate as a weight such that your emotions are kept from an average state. That song,
Okay.
the greatest hit.
Whatever. Daniel.
So I've got real answer and the answer that I wish would be true.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
We're not gonna post that video, so the reference is gonna go over everyone's head.
So actually, there's this guy on the Iowa Hawkeyes wrestling team, and he has wrestled 2 seasons, and he's won the national championship both times. But both times his walkout song was the Pokemon theme song. So he's like, "I want to be the very like no one ever was." Really awesome. A lot of respect.
That's actually pretty cool.
But real answer, Weird Pyre Zomblin is coming to get you.
Let's go.
Shout out. Albums will be released beginning of the year.
Hopefully.
We got to get the Thanksgiving song on the same album, so that's
Yeah,
what
but
we're
we have
working
Christmas
for.
Oh
also.
yeah. Full disclosure, we are planning on doing a Thanksgiving because of how well received the Halloween song was.
We got so much feedback saying that it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to people in their life that the next episode is actually just going to be 3 songs that we create and sing
Yeah,
them.
Please
that
listen
is
to our next episode. It's not actually.
that is what I meant by positive feedback. I have a very low standard.
Yeah. All right.
So even neutral feedback is positive feedback to you.
Hey man, I'll take what I can get.
That's how it goes.
Right. I think we have the bombastic quote ready.
We do indeed. All right. Of all the ways to skin a cat, the epidermis should be the first to go. And with that, we've got our hypothetical. Daniel, you got it for us?
All right. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but all of the internet is ran through people's servers and stuff, but it's actually all wired through to one mainframe server, which is in my basement. And
College
so-
basement or like home basement?
home basement.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of the internet is ran through this basement, and but hypothetically, let's say my basement got flooded, and all of a sudden, all of the internet goes down, and we can't figure out how to fix it for a whole year. So the world is just internetless for a whole year.
So in this situation, the entire world knows that the internet is coming back in exactly 1 year. But
No.
What do you mean no?
I don't know. Do they?
No, yes, I'm defining
I
it.
just
Yes. Yes, everyone knows that the internet is coming back in 1 year, but like the second you don't have forewarning, like they don't have time to download a bunch of stuff. It just happens right then and there, and the internet's gone. How is society gonna evolve during that year, and what's gonna happen after that year? Once
Blockbuster
internet
coming
comes back.
Well, first of all, I'm not gonna be able. I will be unable to forget to do online quizzes anymore, so that'll be very nice.
Well, but college in general is gonna suck because there are so many things that make college easier with the internet, especially searching online databases and such and research. But then also the amount of schools that have all their files stored online and it's just gone. Like, I think a lot of colleges might have to shut down because they just don't have access to their files anymore.
Well,
Yeah, it's
I
true.
mean, yeah, maybe some would, but I feel like most would have it backed up on a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then so also the one thing, the slightly morbid, but like the amount of people who would rely on the internet so much that would, if it were gone, they'd lose their like will to live. I think that would become a problem pretty quick.
Well, I mean, yeah, because a lot of people just wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, me personally, I just get out the Xbox 360 and start having LAN parties again. But
Oh, LAN parties, yes.
See, like,
The way of the future.
no, I think the Picto chat is the real way of the future.
oh, well, that requires internet though. Wait,
No,
no,
it
it doesn't.
doesn't.
No, it
You
doesn't.
can
You're
use
right.
Local servers. But how much of is that? Okay, yeah, I guess it would still run. But so, first off, do we think like society is even going to be able to recover if the internet shut down? Because a lot of things are run by the internet now, and I'm not sure we have the infrastructure to return to non-internet times. So, for example, let's just say like airplanes. A lot of stuff is run through computers, of which I have to imagine a large portion of it relies on the internet, especially at minimum, like cross-referencing schedules and just the agendas for planes. That would
Yeah.
be a big thing
Well-
that you'd have to reorganize entirely.
I don't think it would be that bad. 'Cause you still have, there's still phone services,
Yes.
and air control towers still connected with each other pre-internet, and we're still able to schedule flights
But that doesn't-
internationally without conflict.
That doesn't mean that they still have the equipment to communicate without the internet, though.
Because they may
Like,
have cut that
consistent.
down, like gotten rid of
Yeah.
it as outdated.
They might
That's
not
a
be
good point.
prepared.
Like,
for,
how do you contact with people to make sure they have the information to get a hold of you? You'd have to like get the information around without phones potentially. So I mean, worst case scenario, you have to drive it. So yes, it would take some time to get set back up, but I don't. It's air control and things of that nature, and train schedules are so urgent that I think that would resolve itself relatively quickly.
Okay.
Well, I'm not even sure if it would be quick. I feel like, kind of like, touching back up on the slightly morbid one, like people, I think rely so much on them for entertainment and stuff, and for like happiness almost, that they would become at least depressed to some extent. Whether they easily cope with it or not, they easily would. I think a lot of people would become depressed and not really have the motivation to fix those things that need to be fixed.
But hold on, we haven't addressed the biggest elephant in the room. Blockbuster is coming back.
Oh my god!
I was thinking the same.
Okay, hold on.
thing. I was about to. I was waiting my turn.
Stop. I literally said that, but you guys cut me off.
I
lit-
know.
you
Remember.
can-
I
Whatever.
swear I didn't hear it.
You guys
Let's
didn't
revel in
hear it.
Blockbuster for a little bit.
No, hold on. I want to make note that you guys are gonna go back, look through the audio file, and you're gonna hear me say it with your voices over it.
And I would like to make note, because I need redemption for the Shark Tale bit, that Lindsay did not say anything of the sort.
What? I didn't call you out on that. I thought it was just Brent that called you out on that.
I was called out
you
for
definitely
it. I
called.
need to be redeemed for it.
Anyway, Blockbuster
Blockbuster's
membership
coming back.
cards, like oh man, we lost something. America lost something when Blockbuster went out of business.
Oh, but you know what? In that same vein as Blockbuster coming back, cable television is going to start making a comeback, at least for a year, because no one will be able to use Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or what have you, whatever streaming services you use as opposed to cable television. People are going to start buying back into cable television.
CDs, like people are gonna have to go out and buy CD players, and like the CDs. Well, surely we have a better. Is there something more advanced than a CD at this point besides like downloading an iPod or something?
I mean, yeah,
Songs to
there's
an
like
iPod?
there's like digital downloads, and then there's like
I mean, you can
higher
transfer-
quality CDs than
you
when
can
we first entered the
transfer
streaming era. You know,
from without internet. You can transfer CDs to an MP3, which might be what you're getting at, Brent. But I think CDs are, however more advanced or compact they've gotten, CDs are still current when it comes to that kind of stuff.
My thing is that all the playlists I care about, I have downloaded, and so I can still listen to those. So that's all that really matters to me. But yeah, if you don't have your playlist downloaded,
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to buy all your music, or you could be without your music for a year.
How much of the stock market you think runs entirely off the internet?
Oh, well, I mean, the stock market would obviously crash because the whole world would be in a panic.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's one thing. So, like, we haven't really addressed it, but so the internet went down at the same time for everyone at the same time. And so we don't know if, like, would countries begin to think we've been shut down of our communication? This is a declaration of war or something.
Yeah, wars might be. I mean, for one thing, people might not even realize that they're not the only area to have their internet go out for a while. So there's going to be a bit of a curve where people are like, wait a minute, what is happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're right. Like, wars would probably start. And I mean, like, maybe they're going to try and communicate and be like with other countries because, you know, I would be very, very shocked if countries don't have a way to communicate with each other without the internet. That wouldn't make much sense to me.
Well, I think the carrier pigeons have been out of business for a while. So.
Oh shoot! Well, if we don't have carrier pigeons, then yeah, you're right.
What are we gonna do?
Well, and then so the International Space Station, because how I don't know, how do they communicate with Earth? With just satellites, I guess. But then, do those need internet?
Oh, there's probably. I would think there's like radio.
I'd imagine that
There's, like,
the
radio waves
receiver
you can
for
transmit, right?
satellite is connected to the internet somewhat. That's just how things are typically based around now. Is that things are somewhat connected to the internet. Like my phone, majority of what it does is connected to the internet now. Like it's hard for someone to go without a data plan because they need to access the internet for a lot of things.
It might be interesting though because there are a lot of there's a lot of brain power being devoted to things based around the internet. Like we could have big boosts in hardware technology for that year.
But that's another thing to address is with how would technological development be stunted? Because if let's say like I'm doing research for one of my classes, granted, like I'm not an expert by any means, but even so, even experts, they got to look up a lot of stuff in order to do research. And if they no longer have easy access to that like other people's works, that's got to significantly hurt how quickly we develop new technology during that year. Assuming we even do, because people are still probably trying to find out where Daniel's basement is and see if they can empty the water out.
See, I think the problem here, Brent, is that you're underestimating the power of the library system.
Well, but it's been neglected for the past, like, 3 decades, basically. It's been continually getting smaller and smaller and moving more and more online that I think some stuff wouldn't be able to be replaced within a year.
Not some stuff, but there are a lot of things, like, because everything online is still stored on a database somewhere. And even though it's all ran through the mainframe in my basement, we still have all the other servers that were, you know, like the sub mainframes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but none of them can communicate.
They can't communicate, but, you know, libraries are going to know how to get a hold of each other, town to town especially, and eventually you can just expand the network really fast to where you have access to like all the research any university in the country has done at a phone call and a fax.
Oh, fax. All right, what do you think about my new business? I go
Wait, do faxes use the internet?
I don't know. They use phone lines. They don't use the internet.
Oh, that's right. Because internet used to be ran through phone line. I just remember internet always getting shut down. My parents had to send a fax. It's a bummer. I was trying to play RuneScape.
Oh,
My
we don't
game's
need.
more important than your facts,
No,
man.
you gotta listen to my startup business. So I'm gonna be a traveling salesman, but of memes, because people no longer have easy access to memes, and so I'll just get like a bunch of flash drives of memes and go from town to town and be like, here are the newest memes. I collected them from the past town, and I've brought them to you. Would you care to look at the memes that are current? I think that would be a big market, big business.
Well, I mean, memes that are current, quote unquote. I think people would just start looking at the funnies in the news again.
That's
People
what
would
I'm
get the
thinking.
newspaper again.
Oh, the newspaper's coming back.
That'd be
Dang.
kind of awesome. I
Yeah,
like.
because how else would you hear the latest crazy current events, guys? Gotta check out the newspaper.
Oh, I mean, something that's important to consider here is that we would no longer have a podcast.
Wow.
That's too sad to think about. Let's
Yeah. Well, and then on the note of newspapers, there's a
mean,
a certain famous superhero that works for that newspaper, which is a seamless transition into our next segment after this ad break.
Okay, well, before I just want to get my last 2 cents in.
It was such a perfect segue, though.
I just think the international ramifications of us no longer doing the podcast isn't something we should just brush over.
You're right. The wars wouldn't be fought over the loss of internet. The wars would be fought over the loss of we bombastic few.
Yeah. What city would get the rights to air our podcast over their radio waves?
We'll have a bidding war right now.
Will Smith, if you want to make the first bid, please do.
Yes. I think Will
And that
Smith would be
takes
the
us
king.
into our ad break, kind of.
Perfect.
So today's episode is brought to you by the Weird Mouse. Now, have you ever been using your mouse and you're sitting on your computer, you have your office job and you just find yourself left clicking all the time? You're like, man, I wish I didn't have to left click with my left button all the time. Well, thanks to the Weird Mouse, you can now left click with your right mouse. You never know whether you're going to get a right click or a left click when you use your right button. Back to you, Brent.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. I gotta pick myself up a copy of that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had to stop doing work on my computer because my finger gets cramped up.
So
Like-
instead of ambidextrous, it's unidextrous. Or whatever the term is for finger.
Dexterous.
Nice. All right. So we've done it before. We're gonna do it again. Superhero debate. So we went to randomlist.com and we generated 6 superpowers, and we're gonna match 2 of those up for a total of 3 separate groups. Quick maths. And so we're gonna compare those. We're gonna assign each of those groups of powers to an individual, and then we're gonna compare those individuals in terms of how useful they'd be, how cool they'd be, what their superhero names would be, who would win in a fight, stuff like that, all the good stuff. And so today we got the first set of 2 powers. The first one is going to be water breathing, and that's the ability to respirate through water in lieu of a gaseous medium, not to be confused with an ability to go without breathing or to be able to breathe an alternative air supply. And the second power this person has is possession, which is the ability to take control of and inhabit the body of an individual. The next person, he will have super strength, which is the ability to have a level of strength much higher than the normal possible given their proportions. And then portal creation, the ability to create wormholes, portation discs, or other spatial portals for transport between 2 non-adjacent locations. The final person will have super senses, which is the ability to see, smell, taste, feel, or hear more than a normal human, and microwave manipulation, which is the ability to convert ambient electromagnetic energy into microwaves and manipulate it into various effects such as heat, light, and radiation. All right, so we have the list before us. What's your guys' first impressions about them?
My first question. concern is there like a radius of this possession?
I was thinking about that. I want to say for possession, they have to touch the person in order to possess them. I don't think that's outrageous in any form. So and then super strength. That's also a good thing. We kind of need to define how strong they are. How much do you guys want to do? 10 times, 20 times normal strength?
Let's just do it with like some like Mr. Incredible in mind.
All right, Mr. Incredible. He's a pretty good baseline. And then
Yeah.
super senses is also pretty vague. How much
Daredevil.
better? All right, Daredevil. All right, but he can also see better. And
Yeah,
stuff.
Daredevil plus vision is pretty much
And
not
then
the superhero vision, but like the sense.
in the sense of the word vision.
Also, he can manipulate microwaves.
Yeah. So, well, first off, depending on how we take.
Oh my gosh, he could let the microwave hit 0 without it beeping.
I think you misinterpreted what the description was, but
I've chosen
it's
to ignore
like
the description.
Emitted by the microwave. I get it.
right.
It was,
But so my question would have been for the superhuman senses dude, if he can see like beyond a normal human, can he see different wavelengths such as microwaves? In which case that would give him some good like cohesive stuff to his two powers.
I feel like the ability to see better kind of implies like more like eagle eye.
Okay. Not broader spectrum. Which
Yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, maybe we could include that, but
maybe he
I
can
feel like what's
zoom
most
in.
important to that ability is like intense long range vision.
Uh-huh. Well, all right. So first impressions for me, because I've already forgotten what Lindsay's first impressions were. So superhuman strength portal creation dude. He's my favorite right now because first off, super strength, Mr. Incredible, he's already a great guy. He's an awesome superhero. Like super strength implies some level of invulnerability or at least excessive durability for your body to be able to perform feats of higher strength, and then also giving him portal creation. There's no real limit on the portals right now, and even if we do just sight limit, that's still a crazy powerful thing that he can do, because he can not only teleport himself but other people. So he could teleport someone that's 100 feet away from him directly on top of him, punch him in the face, and then set the next portal to like have him fall from a really high height, punch him again, and like this guy's got some serious wombo combo potential. So I think that guy's
I am
so far
liking
my
that guy
favorite.
as well. But mainly because, like you're saying, the portal creation is very intriguing. I really like that. That is one of those superpowers that you can have a lot of creativity with. But I'm also liking the third guy, the superhuman senses microwave manipulation, because I'm not really sure what to think about the microwave his powers. But the Daredevil kind of like idea, his senses is a really cool, intriguing, like idea of a superhero. Also, kind of how you're saying about Mr. Incredible, like this, like his ability to like know what's what just by smell of something. Or I don't know how to picture it, but I just like that idea of a hero. But if he's also able to cause radiation somewhere, pretty cool. I don't think Mr. Possession's gonna want to touch this guy that radiation touches him.
See, I don't know. I feel like you guys are kind of underselling the first guy a bit. Well, okay, let me clarify. His abilities he has the coolest combination of abilities, I think.
Does he?
Between water breathing and possession. However, usefulness, water breathing isn't that useful because you know how many things in the water can just end you.
Well, but
so
you could
easily?
possess anything that came towards you.
Yeah, okay, but what if you got a pack of wild sea bears?
Well, then you gotta get the jazz hands ready because you gotta touch all of them. Because technically,
Bang, bang,
he just has the
you're not gonna be
ability.
able to draw a circle in time.
He has the ability to control, and so it doesn't say if like he's still aware of himself or if he just transfers consciousness. But to give him like a fighting chance, I'm gonna say that he doesn't have to transfer conscience. But
Well, no, it does say ability to take control and inhabit the body.
well,
of
but
an
I'm gonna take
individual.
that as either or it's like you could if you wanted, but because you
Okay,
could just
how
take
are-
control.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about taking control without inhabiting.
Well,
Didn't
it would
really
just
play
become
out
like a
very well to
robot
me.
at that point, where you could give it a simple command, like stay or go over there or roll over.
Well, in which case, then he has the coolest and most useful set of abilities because he could just like tell the
he's
Kraken.
Aquaman.
He could just tell the Kraken to protect him.
Well,
And
he's got to
nothing
touch
worry
the
about.
Kraken. How is he gonna touch the
I'm
Kraken?
hearing Aquaman here.
Well, I mean, as soon as the Kraken tries to attack him, he's touching.
But what if he crushes him like instantly? But so you do make a good point that I was thinking is like, let's say he does inhabit the body, and so his normal form is just like left there vulnerable. He could literally just throw his body in the water, and people probably aren't gonna find it, and he'll still survive because he can breathe underwater. And so he like possesses something and then throws his actual body in the river, and he's chilling.
Oh, like if let's say him and superhuman strength were in a fight and he touched superhuman strength. Maybe he's just very dexterous. He dodges and touches him, possesses him, and then within the body of superhuman strength guy. We really need to name these people. Anyways, within the body of superhuman strength guy, he grabs his own body, dives deep down in the water to the point of near death, and then transfers back into his body.
So he's killing super strength dude by like drowning him basically by making him go under. Well, I was thinking more of like just keep himself safe, but I guess you could do it. Also, I guess we're saying whatever he possesses gets water breathing as well, which I'm okay with. I think that's fine. But superhuman strength guy's got portals, and so as long as he's vigilant, like he could definitely mess up, but like he could just portal him away, very far away.
Oh, that's true. As soon as he regains like his own body, he could just portal himself out. And that makes it interesting.
Well,
But
go ahead. No, you.
okay.
No, you hang up first.
Maybe I mean, what's superhuman strength guy gonna do when he gets possessed and then all of a sudden within possession, he is forced to create a portal that sends him into the stratosphere.
Theoretically, he'd make a portal not in the stratosphere and just go back.
No, because he's still possessed, and maybe you allow him to gain a lot of momentum so that no matter where he portals, he's in a bad spot.
All right, sure. Well, let's give third guy superhuman senses and microwave dude, because he's got virtually, they say ambient electromagnetic energy, which is all around you, and so heat, light, and radiation, which I'm just imagining like beams of each of these that can be fired. And so, not to mention his super senses, so possession dude's definitely not sneaking up on this guy. And so
Well, okay, first off,
I'm just picturing
both of you guys kind of touched on, or at least Dino touched on his like practicalness. Like superhuman senses alone will like every day help you with stuff, and I think that's the same thing with person number 2. Like superhuman strength and superhuman senses, both practicality, top of the list. You want those for your everyday thing. But yes, fighting the other people. Like imagine possession water breathing guy takes over somehow takes over number 3. Let's call him Curly. Yeah, he gets possessed. takes him to the bottom of the ocean or whatever. Then he regains his consciousness or whatever. So he's starting to drown. He uses microwave manipulation to evaporate the entire ocean. Because there's no harm in that, right?
Well, I'm assuming he's not that powerful, because if he is, then that guy just wins. Period. Because he just radiates the entire Earth, kills everything.
I mean, he can convert the energy into microwaves, but he still has to draw that energy from.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think the ocean is abundant in specifically microwaves.
He could probably do a good deal of damage with the EM energy in the air.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if he could evaporate even a whole lake.
Or even a puddle. Depending on the size of the puddle.
He could evaporate a puddle. He could totally evaporate a puddle.
Well, but a puddle implies that he's not in it because it's small enough. If it was a big enough puddle. I don't know.
So a lake.
I don't think that it goes from puddle to lake. I'm pretty sure that there's something in between those two.
Like reservoir, maybe?
Creek.
A creek is a body of running water.
It runs in a circle that happens to be the exact size that's in between a lake and a puddle.
Wait, can you guys define the exact amount of water, whatever it takes to the volume of a lake and of a puddle?
Greater than a 2-liter bottle of soda for 300?
I'm gonna call on my geography lessons here. Say it has to have the lake in it.
All right, so we'll get some concluding thoughts on him. Everyday life. Who do you think?
Well, I have one more point to kind of raise with the third guy, because have you guys heard about the thing spiders can do, where they can ride the Earth? Spiders can ride on the Earth's electromagnetic field for hundreds of miles.
Isn't that like with their webs or their like webs though?
Yeah, they can like send out a long strand of silk and just fly on the Earth's current.
Where's he?
Or the current of the Earth's electromagnetic field.
So, given the right materials, possibly, I could maybe. I don't know.
So I mean, we kind of said it earlier. He's got the eagle eye vision, but I mean, maybe he develops like some kind of wingsuit that he can allow himself to fly.
Well, and he wouldn't even need to do something as crazy as you're talking. He can generate heat, so he could easily just make a hot air balloon and fly. So.
Oh, that's true. I mean,
he's Zuko.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. No, you're right. He can literally firebend.
Well,
you know what I'm picturing?
I'm
picturing because he can manipulate the microwaves, and so he has heat, light, radiation. But I don't know how much Super Smash Brothers you guys have played, but I'm just picturing the solar ball that Wii Fit Trainer can shoot.
So, third person is no longer Curly as Wii Fit Trainer. Anyway, so everyday life, who are you taking? Whose power set?
Number 3. Number 3 is most useful, I think.
I gotta go superhuman strength portal creation. Portals and superhuman strength would come in handy every day.
Yeah, them individually, I would pick those.
You can get a lot done, but I feel like it would get kind of boring.
What do you mean boring? You can portal anywhere.
Yeah, portal anywhere.
You get used to it. I mean, and then it's like, wow, I have so much time left in my day because I have to travel or exert myself at all.
Oh my gosh. All right, so you're taking number 3?
Brent.
I'm taking number 3 for most useful.
Since you chose 3, you're now kicked off the podcast.
All right. So fight.
This is like the 5th time you guys have made that joke today. Shoot. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So the 3 of them, or each one individually fights. Who do you think wins? Because I'm saying Possession Dude could never beat superhuman senses because there's just like outside of severely outsmarting him, which would be very hard to do, I say there's no way Possession Dude could beat Superhuman Senses. Possession Dude could beat Strength Dude. But
Under the right
so
circumstances.
yeah, but between Strength and Senses, I think Manipulation Dude still probably has him because enough heat, light, or radiation, he could take out Superhuman Strength. So I think number 3 is gonna win in a battle royale.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
the thing
Colonel-
is, in a fighting scenario, if there's any scenario in which a water breathing and possession guy is fighting either of these two, he's gained a lot of notoriety for his abilities. And so he has to, in order for him to have gotten that famous with his abilities, he has to have been very smart about the way he fights.
Yeah, sure.
And so I think it'd be tough, but I think he could beat the third guy
But okay, you're okay.
as well as
You're
the second
going
guy.
up against Portal, Mr. Incredible,
yeah.
and or Zuko Daredevil here.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
think Mr. Possession
It
Water
is
breathing
very
guy.
good. I just don't think that one could sneak up on 3.
No, I'm just playing. I'm not trying to like shut
You
it
don't have
down.
to
I'm
sneak
more so
up.
playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. All right. So who are you taking, Lindsay?
I think 3 still, but
3.
second person is right there. Like I'm a huge fan of second person.
I think all three are a respectable choice,
Mm-hmm.
given some assumptions about their other abilities
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how they
I
use
would.
their
I would be happy to have any of these at all.
Oh, definitely.
Second person practicality, third person.
All right.
I think
Well-
that'll wrap it up.
That's right. So thanks for listening, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, tell your grandma. Let everyone know about our podcast. Let us know what you think. Give us feedback, any ideas, fan art. We didn't get any fan art for the Weird Pyre Zomblin, so now
Very
I'm going to have to
disappointing.
draw it. So
That'll be in the next
that'll
episode.
be posted at some point when I get to that. Let us know what you think about the first 10 episodes. It's been a good journey. You know, we've done a lot. We've learned a lot about performing and showmanship. I mean, we might continue, or maybe we'll stop and destroy all evidence this ever happened. Who knows? But that's all I have. Any final thoughts from either of you?
Well, I just want to say we did test very well in grandma age range, so be sure to tell all your grandmothers. I already did my shout out to mom, but she gets 2 this episode. Shout out to mom because it's a very long episode. That's another thing. This is a very long episode, but it's episode 10. Give us a break. Let us know what you think about the about this time. If it's getting too long, if you've tuned out and therefore you can't tell us, but you might say that anyway. And then also for the next episode, we're thinking about doing something a little bit different. I'll leave it a little bit vague to make it interesting, but yeah, thank you guys for listening. I've had a blast these first 10 episodes and glad that there is more than just my mom listening. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, following up with that, like we've a lot these past episodes, kind of pushed some segments, seeing how they went without having much faith in it, but other ones having a lot of faith in, and didn't go the way we expected. So we're trying a lot of things, and I think we're gonna push a lot of other things coming up soon. So please give us feedback. Like he said, like, comment, subscribe, follow. Even if you have nothing interesting to say, or you don't really like it, or you don't really want to subscribe, just do it, because what's the harm in it, really? It helps us, so it's just doing something nice. It
If you
can be your
brought a
charity
smile to the face
Yeah.
of 3 college boys,
Exactly.
that alone should be
Um,
worth it.
And my final thought is that I did make the first comment about Blockbuster coming back.
Oh, what? You want to decimate our reputations or something?
Oh, Brent, don't make me
Decimate
take
is-
you down to 72.9.
You've had the calculation waiting the entire
It
episode.
took them this long to figure it out.
Actually, I think it's 73. Shoot.
Well, no, it would be a point. We should finish in the next 21 seconds or 21 seconds because we can make this exactly an hour.
All right.
we wanna do that?
My final thoughts. Also, shout out to Brent's mom.
11
and
seconds.
Shout out. Yes, our biggest fan until I deem otherwise. And shout out to whoever's listening from the UK. So, with
Whoever
that,
the person is.
Oh, come on. No. All right,
have
we're
a
over.
bombastic week.
Oh, we missed it. We missed it by 3 seconds. No. All right, it's ending.